Hi, this is Gina. Thank you for joining me for this Astrology Chat Live for February 26th, 2025. Today, I just wanted to take a look at the current chart. I'm in the middle right now on my channel of doing some March horoscopes, and I've also been posting a daily Astrology Chat Live for every sign. And I'm about to do Sagittarius, but I wanted to pause and I just wanted to take a look at today's current chart for a minute and kind of just check in with everybody because I've been doing, these check-ins by sign, but it's a little too long to go the whole 12 days. And there's actually some really, really interesting astrology that is active right now that I don't want everyone to miss. So I just wanted to come on today and give a quick tour around the chart and say a couple of different things. So welcome. Please feel free to leave any notes in the comments, any questions. The first thing I want to talk about, I don't like that. First thing I want to talk about is this Mercury Saturn conjunction that was exact yesterday. I like to use the chart here and have this little visual going so that if you're interested in learning more about astrology or studying astrology a bit yourself, hopefully following along with the chart in that way can be helpful. But if you just like astrology, you like hearing about your horoscope or what's going on right now in terms of the current transits, the current energies, then I'm hoping that these videos work for you too. That's my intent. Okay. And also, I just kind of want the tone to feel like I want the energy here to be like hanging out with a friend who just happens to be an astrologer. My horoscopes are much more formal. They're basically scripted, and there's a lot of information there. And there's information here too, but hopefully delivered in just a little bit more of a casual, sort of friendly basis and with some back and forth in the chat. So, excuse me, I'm also sometimes guilty of drinking a little bit of coffee during these morning meetings. I'm live every day. Okay. So sorry. Let's jump right into the actual astrology. Saturn conjunct Mercury. This was actually exact yesterday, but it's still active today and tomorrow. Especially today and yesterday, though. You may have felt this energy. And there's a lot going on in this Pisces sector of the chart, right? I've circled Saturn and Mercury here, but as you can see, there are a lot of other planets, and we will talk about that. But I did want to mention this exact conjunction of Saturn and Mercury. When Saturn and Mercury come together, especially in Pisces, it can help us to talk about difficult things. We may find ourselves having tough conversations in some way or another, but it's likely that the subject matter itself is a little bit heavy, and then Mercury is bringing the conversation energy to that. So, especially in Pisces, there might be something about all of this that feels sort of almost mystical. There can be a healing component to it. It can help with connecting with others and sort of merging with others in sort of almost like a spiritual way, this conversation. So, always interesting to think about Saturn as time, right? So it could be that you're having a conversation that started a long time ago and you're finishing it now, especially with upcoming retrograde energy in the sky. And especially with it being in Pisces, which is the last sign of the zodiac, there could be sort of a finishing energy to it. Or it could be that you're talking about something that happened a long time ago. Maybe it's not that you started the conversation a long time ago, but whatever it is that you're talking about is quite old. It could be that some sort of authority figure is involved in some way. This could be having a serious conversation where you're getting some sort of go ahead or something from an authority figure, permission or something like that. Maybe some sort of an advancement at work, or Saturn can be authority and Mercury can be conversation. So those two blended together, especially with so much going on in this house and sign, can be that. But there's something about serious conversations here. Healing conversations, deep conversations that bring people together rather than apart, that kind of help the two people to kind of merge their energies and have a deeper spiritual connection. Although I could also see this being something that sort of is played out with an authority figure, where an authority figure, maybe you have a conversation with them that you've been wanting to have, or vice versa, or maybe you're the authority figure, and that there's some relationship to in that way with it as well. That's another way it could come up. I also think it's really interesting to notice that at the same time, and I think I'm actually going to remove this just so we can, because it's all in this same sector of the chart. We're building to a Pisces new moon here. So, oh, I don't like that. We already have a bunch of planets in Pisces. We have the Sun, Saturn, Mercury, the North Node, and Neptune. And by the end of the day today, the moon will have moved into Pisces as well. And that sort of kicks off the new moon in Pisces energy. Do check out my site, my channel, for your rising sign or your sun sign if you don't know your rising, for February videos, because the new moon in Pisces is actually the last aspect that I covered in my February videos. So that can tell you a little bit more about where this is moving through the chart. But as you can see at that time, we're just going to have a tremendous amount of energy in Pisces for one thing. So I think this is a good one to know maybe where it's falling in your chart, just so you can know the life area that's getting so much of that energy and work. But I have to connect it with sort of the broader Pisces Aries story that's taking root at this time. There is this energy of profound endings and profound beginnings, because we just have a lot of planets, a lot of activity right across this line. The North Node recently moved into Pisces, and soon Neptune and Saturn will move into Aries, and of course also the Moon, the Sun, and Mercury. But what's interesting is when Mercury's here in Aries, and Venus is too, hang in with me just for a minute, I'll be very quick about this astrology part. Venus and Mercury are both going to be here in Aries, and they're both going to retrograde into Pisces together and then turn around and come back into Aries. So it's just wild on this axis. It really, really is. And I think that this new moon is a big part of that that's coming up. And then right behind it, we have the Venus retrograde beginning in Aries. So this is a great time to really be dreaming big with all of this energy in Pisces, particularly Neptune in the North Node. Neptune is about to leave this house and sign. He is wrapping up his time in Pisces. And at the same time, has met up with the North Node for that period. So it's almost like everything that Neptune's been dreaming about. Now he's having this conversation with the North Node just before he moves into Aries, where he's communicating that information to the North Node. They're exchanging information when they come conjunct. They're merging their energies, right? So Neptune is related to dreams and going beyond what we could even imagine for ourselves sometimes. Neptune is spirituality. And then coming together with the North Node is our fate, our destiny, our karma, whatever words you believe in along those lines. What was meant for you. And so that meeting up with Neptune at the very late degrees of Pisces, it's almost like we have a chance for our dreams to come true. So now is a really great time to just really dream big, to allow yourself a little extra time to envision the future that you really want, envision the person you want to be in that future, making sure, guys, to um, not spiritually bypass and not be too negative. I want to give both pieces of advice. Yes, I think it's very important that we picture a bright future. And I also think it's very important that we don't say, well, I'm picturing a bright future and that's all I need to do, right? We need to take action as we move forward into this future in order to make it happen. But I always use the analogy of a math test, right? If you're going into a math test that you're somewhat prepared for, you think maybe, you might do okay. And you start saying to yourself, I hate math. I'm so bad at math. I'm going to fail this test. I should have studied more. That's probably going to impact your outcome on the test, right? And if you say to yourself, okay, I got this. I'm going to do okay. Tests are kind of fun. It's a different kind of class. I don't need to take notes today. I'm just going to work through this test and I'm going to enjoy it and I'm going to do well and I'm good at math. Then that'll probably affect your performance. So that's kind of what I mean in terms of thinking positively, especially with so much happening in Pisces. Yes, it's important to do that. It's not everything, but we can certainly do ourselves a lot of harm going the other way. And it sets the stage, it lays the foundation for making things happen. And this is a really good time to make things happen because we actually have a really interesting thing right now where all of the planets are moving direct, which is pretty wild. That doesn't happen very often. Just a couple of days ago, Mars stationed direct. So Mars is now moving direct, still at 17 degrees of Cancer, where he's been for a couple weeks, and I think he's still going to be there another 10 days or something. Such a slow moving planet coming out of the retrograde. But all the planets are direct right now, nothing retrograde until March 1st when Venus stations retrograde. So, especially if you have a lot of forward moving planets in your chart, this can be a great time of forward progress. And most people do have mostly forward moving planets in their chart. So, the world, things will move forward quickly this week. Energy that you put in will go a long way. Any gas that you give something will carry it forward. Again, particularly if you have a lot of forward moving planets in your chart. So be on the lookout for those meaningful, healing conversations. They aren't always available to us, those kinds of deep conversations, perhaps about something from the past, perhaps in some kind of a way that's healing, maybe talking about something that you haven't talked about before. It could be that whatever it is that's coming up right now could be a part of a story that will be unfolding for a few months. We really do have quite a lot happening here in Pisces and in Aries, or it could just be sort of on that theme, on those lines. Not a bad time to have an astrology journal and be taking some notes, particularly if you know where Pisces and Aries fall in your chart. Again, feel free to check my channel. And yeah, I just wanted to take this time to check in. I'm going to do the rest of the signs. There's just a few left. I'm on Sagittarius. And then I'll be back to doing these astrology chat lives every day, where sometimes we do an overview like we did today, or I'll focus in on a specific transit or just talk about something else in astrology. So I don't see anything in the chat today. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll be back again tomorrow.